Yeah. A lot of us in NorCal know
Diego.
Diego.
Yeah, from Valverde Performance. And then Mario Patina was working there, and then Ellison Lee was his name, last name, I believe. Those two were the assemblers there in the factory, and then Mario was doing a lot of artwork and design for the company, and then John Bongiorno, who was the welder, the fabricator there. And those were that was the whole team. And then Ryan Fowl was the race team manager, and then Eric Johnson, of course, was running the whole company, and he was running the engine department at that time also. So I met everyone there. He kind of showed me around, and then they showed me, okay, this is the race team area. Had the go-kart there that Kyle was running. He's like, okay, put your seat in it. This is the cart that you'll test with, and we'll start doing the program. And he's like, Ryan doesn't get here until tomorrow. He's off. I think he was off working with the dealer. But that was my first day at TrackMagic, and then I'm thinking like, I don't want to go drive all the way, 2.5, 3 hours home to come back here, because Ryan called me during the day. He's like, are you doing all right? He's like, yeah, I'll be there tomorrow. You can stay at my house. Maybe try to figure out where you can stay tonight. You can maybe get a hotel. And I'm like, I ain't paying for no hotel. I was like, what's the worst thing that can happen? I'm just going to sleep in my truck tonight. And I didn't really, I drove through, just straight to the factory. I guess I didn't drive around the neighborhood and know, kind of what the neighborhood. And I'm sure people are, that know this or listen to this, I'm like, there's no way this guy slept in his car. But I slept in my car after the day. And the shops closed down at 5. But I drove around San Francisco, just looking around, because I'd never really seen San Francisco. And I figured, okay, if I get lost, the worst thing that can happen, I get back onto the 101. And I can, find my way back to TrackMagic. This is the time before, smartphones and everything else. It's not like, it's not like, and I always had a good sense of direction and everything. So I knew, I had to get off at Cesar Chavez and get on 3rd Street, and from 3rd Street I could make my way to TrackMagic. So I kind of knew where I was going, but drove around, got some dinner, and then. Yeah, I think it was around 10 o'clock. I was like, just parked my truck in front of TrackMagic and went to sleep. and then woke up early in the morning, went and got breakfast, somewhere, and started work the next day. And, Ryan was there the next day. And I want to say we even went to the Dixon on Friday or something. We, Thursday, finished up the carts and loaded everything and everything. And then I went, and I thought, and while these days I saw up in the office, in Ryan's office, there was kind of an open office, and Oliver Rowan was still in one of those offices working, designing skateboard trucks and wheels and stuff. And I saw, there was a little kind of area that, I could put maybe a bed, and there was a shower there and everything. That was actually the only amenities were there. It was just an office that happened to have a shower in it. And I heard stories of Mabel Gidley actually, staying in the shop when he had worked late or whatnot, didn't want to go all the way home. And he just threw up an air mattress and, would shower there. And I'm like, why don't I just do that? So I went home after Friday for the weekend, to my parents' house, and bought an air mattress. And literally that next Monday went back to the factory, and I never went back. I just lived at the factory in an office on an air mattress for almost two years. So it was every day thing. Break down the air mattress, fold it up so it wasn't in the middle of the walkway of the office. Shower before everyone got there. Dress myself, and I was off and running. And I just did that every day for 2 years. There was no television. At least there was internet. But I remember, my first day or first week there, Fausto looked at my toolbox. He told me to bring my own toolbox, so I brought my own toolbox. And he looks at my shoes and goes, "You can't afford new shoes?" I'm like, "Well, these are the ones I got. I'll go to get a few more months out of them." He's like, "What size are you? What size are those shoes? Those things are just despicable." And I told him the size of my shoe. He's looking at my toolbox. "Dude, you don't even have screwdrivers. What are you doing?" And I'm thinking, man, this guy, I'm not making a good impression on this guy right off the bat. But in turn, he was kind of getting an idea of what I needed. he found out I was sleeping up in the shop. He's like, "Well, do you even have a computer? Well, I mean, what do you do all night?" I'm like, "Well, I just kind of work and until I'm tired, and then I go eat and go to sleep. I mean, what else is there to do? There's not much to do." He's like, "You don't even have a computer? You can't even go on the internet or what?" I don't think there was like really streaming anything videos back then. I mean, but there was nothing. I mean, literally, just think about working in your garage that happened to have a shower, and working in your garage all day and blowing up an air mattress and going to Carl's Jr. and getting stuff off the dollar menu every night and going back and sleeping. that was my TrackMagic life. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of, people would look back and think it's crazy, but at that time I didn't think anything of it. I was getting paid to drive go-karts and paid to work at a go-kart factory, and I didn't have to pay for my racing. So that's what I did.
I mean, but you almost quit karting. You were going to become a PG&E lineman.
Yeah. If it wasn't the call from Fausto and then me doing that test and just saying, you know what, the hell with it, I'll just try it out. What's the worst that can happen? I probably would have never went back to karting.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, you were moments away from quitting, and your whole, everything would have changed. Your whole storyline would have changed. And I'm sitting here, not to blow smoke up your ass, but I remember being 18, and I remember the Bay Area. I never went to Hunters Point when I was 18, not because of fear or anything else. I just didn't know where it was. But I know the area. I used to work in deliveries for a company called Good Guys, and we did TV deliveries and such, and home entertainment installs. And I remember a few times going through Hunters Point about that time frame, and our manager said, you don't leave the truck. I go, what do you mean? It's like, you don't leave the truck. It's like, if you leave the truck, it's going to be empty when you come back. And I go, I'm only going to be in there for 20 minutes. And they go, you don't leave the truck. So we always had two people anytime we went to that area. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I don't think I know any 18-year-old currently that would do anything like that. And that's kind of a broad, rude statement to say, but just even looking at the people at the track, how many 18-year-olds would sacrifice that much? And then an air mattress. I mean, come on, those things are so uncomfortable.
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, I guess I shouldn't say it was for 2 years, because eventually Oliver Rowan moved out of that one office. And then I kind of made it into a bedroom. I got a proper bed. So there was probably a good 8 to 9 months of that stay that I actually had a proper bed and actually a dresser, because before I was just doing everything out of a suitcase. So I mean, I got a dresser and things like that. No TV. Well, yeah, and there was a TV. I had a little small TV. I mean, the thing was probably 12 inches by 12 inches.
But you still lived in the factory. I mean, you still dedicated yourself that much to being in the factory.
Yeah,
and you were that close to quitting. It blows me away.
Yeah.
You were that close to quitting. So anyone out there listening right now that's like on the verge of quitting, keep pushing. Because Gary got that phone call.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I've always lived my life. If I'm going to do something, it's going to be 100%. There's no reason to do it half-assed or, just do it. So I decided, okay, I'm going to do this with these people, with TrackMagic, and if I'm going to do it, I'm not going to go home. I'm not going to come here 3 days a week and then go home. And, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it 100%, do it all the time, and try to do it the best that I can. And to be honest, I guess I was a little bit oblivious at first, but the first couple weeks, I started realizing, this is not a nice neighborhood. Looks a little scary. And I think it was the second week that I was living there, we had a a client or a customer that would come in all the time. He wouldn't patrol that area, but he was a San Francisco police officer, and he had a cart, that he'd go up to snowmen and whatnot.
Okay.
And he had told, like, someone was saying, like, yeah, he's like, man, this neighborhood is rough. When I get called over here, I never want to. And then I think, someone chimed in, like, yeah, Gary lives here now. And he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I stay here in the shop, and I think I just sleep in here. So, if you ever need something late or anything, just come by. I can, hook you up. And he's like, no, dude, like, you don't understand. Like, after dark, he goes, I'd never come here. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, if I ever had a problem, like, he's like, this place is dangerous. I'm like, well, if I ever had a problem, I'll just call you, right? He's like, no, dude, we won't come. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, after night, cop cars don't come here. I'm like, well, why? What if someone has? He goes, it's got to be something really serious for us to come, because if we come at the wrong time or for the wrong person, they'll just shoot at the cars, just 'cause. I was like, no way. And, I mean, after the 2 years that I saw, and I lived there, I mean, I literally saw in broad daylight a car, high-speed chase, fly into another, I think it was a sheet metal factory that's just literally across the street. We're sitting there working on a factory here. Boom! Like, big car crash. We're like, whoa! So we all run out and we see this car smoking. And then, I mean, like, literally half second later, there's 5 cop cars jailbreaking, showing up, and full-on guns on, get out of the car, get out of the car. And we're like, whoa, what is going on, Guy flashes a gun to shoot him dead. I mean, like, I was like, where the heck am I? Like, this place is not safe, right? And I remember actually my dad coming one time. It was probably like 2-3 weeks after I first started working there, and he looked around and he goes, we are not bringing Mom here. Like, do not ever invite Mom here, because if she sees this, it'll be over. She'll make a big deal about it, and you'll be done. Like, we can't bring Mom here, because this place is bad. This is not good.
So your dad left you at the Reno track, and your dad left you at Hunter's Point.
Well, I mean, at that point, I can kind of do what I want, and my dad was always the guy, like, well, you're an adult, like, you're going to do what you want. So, and that's how it started. And I mean, the memories that I have of, like, Fosta, I'm sure, like, a lot of people want to hear some stories about Fosta. I remember working in the shop, and he barged in one day and looks around and he goes, you know what? I'm going to put a car lift right in the air, right? And I'm like, okay, cool, dude. And just storms out. Lo and behold, I mean, it was like 2-3 days later, I mean, these guys come in and start putting a car lift on it in the shop. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to bring my Porsche in here, my Ferrari here. I'm going to, drop the engine on the Porsche. And, I was like, okay, cool. Like, I guess the boss will be working side by side with the boss, And lo and behold, it was like, 2 weeks later, he comes in with this older Ferrari and everything. I don't know what model. I don't know what model it was. Probably a 1980s Ferrari. And he gets it on the lift and lifts it up, and he's got this box of brake parts, like brake pads. He's like, you think you can change the brakes on this thing? And I mean, to be honest, especially when I was 18 years old, I mean, the only thing I really had worked on is go-karts. I never worked on, cars or anything, and I didn't know, anything, really. And he's like, you can figure it out, right? I'll be back in a couple of days. Well, get the brakes changed. I'm like, oh, man, like, all right. So, slowly but surely, I figured it out. Okay, it's so much different than a go-kart. And I think Eric Johnson helped me out. Oh, you do it like this, do it like that. And it took me probably way longer than it should. 4 or 5 hour job, or even less than that. Probably took me a day and a half. But I finally got it done. And I remember him storming in the shop. And he looks at the car. It's still on the lift, and he looks at it. He's like, the brakes changed or not? I'm like, yeah, I changed them. He lowers the car off the lift, And he's like, "Did you do it? Did you do it right?" I'm like, "Yeah. I think so." He starts this thing up.